Natalie, are you in? How you doing? Good. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I wanted you all to hear what Hubbard was discussing with us so that if you ever do a three-way with him and someone else that's interested, then you'll know more about him and what you can say in your introductions. But you wouldn't have to say all of that, and I have some of it written. I have it all written down actually.
The real estate with Robert Design. And in 10 years, Scott sold over 100 million of those packages.
He's talking about Scott Zuckman, so you know why he uses him.
That's amazing.
So he was already a multi-millionaire. Scott is actually owned member market company. But Scott was on my team in my first gold and silver company.
And so what was your other goal?
That's Jackie talking.
You look at us. Preservation of wealth. Right down the name. Preservation of wealth. It was based in Dallas, Texas. And it was in business from 2009 to 2014. I got involved in 2012, March of 2012. By the time it closed its doors in December 2014, I was the number one earner. I got like 50,000 a month before that thing crashed. I could have choked that little for not knowing how to run a company. But I owe him a debt of gratitude because when it went down, he filed bankruptcy to the tune of $3.5 million and 30,000 that belonged to me, commissions and points. And so, yeah, I kept in touch with him, because I'm in the Houston area, he's in the Dallas area. And when that company went down, he was a good guy. He was just a horrible business guy. He didn't know how to run a company. He created the concept. What we have today in 70K Metal, that concept was created in preservation wealth. So it's the same concept, just different ownership. Okay. And so when that company went down for 2 years, 2.5 years, he shopped around the idea, trying to look for some people that could fund it. And that Roger Ball and they were the fifth one that he went to. And of course, they decided to do it. So, and when they bought the concept in July of 2016, he called me a couple of weeks later and said, "Hey, listen, I think I've sold the concept of preservation wealth to a billionaire, 3 billionaires." And I told him about you and they want to meet you. And initially I blew him off because I was still $30,000 man. I had to say, unless it started out by saying I got you 30,000. He called me back again because he ended up getting sued over a couple hundred times because there were people that paid for their metals that didn't get it. So he called me back in October of 2016, around about this time. And he said, "I got to come to Houston for a court appearance. Let me buy you lunch." I said, "Dude, you owe me 30,000. I said, "If I get $50 out of you, I'm going to call that." He said, "They're going to start this company in 2 weeks." And I told them about you. They want to meet you. They're willing to pay your expenses and the expenses of 5 other people. We come up there just to meet with them, whether you join or not. So the only person I could get on short notice was Pastor Keith Street out of North Carolina. And so he and I flew up there, and he was my first sign up. And he passed away in 2020. 60-some years old. But if you look up the original 7K Metals testimonial video on YouTube, just look up 7K testimonial video. I'm the only black guy that's on it. And you'll see him. He comes on right before me. He said, "I'm a dreamer." That's him. And so he and I flew up there. We met with those guys. We didn't know nobody from Africa. All we knew is one of these guys was being at a real big man. And they picked us up from the airport. Have you guys met Richard? Y'all met Richard Hanson, one of the co-founders. Y'all meet him. Y'all go to Cancun or not? I mean, Dominican. Y'all go to Dominican?
No.
Right?
I went, yeah.
Yes, all right. So you met Richard Hanson, right?
Yes.
Co-founder. I mean, and he's the real hyper guy. You know what I mean? He always, "Hey, we're going to make $1 million. And if you don't know him, he comes across as disingenuous. And so he picked us up from the airport, and they got a little municipal airport there in Idaho Falls. Got 2 gates. They got 2 gates, and that's one of the whitest states on the planet because they got less than about 0.5%
of black folks
black in that. I mean, they got 1 million and a half people in the state, only 22,000 blacks in that whole state. So when I came in that airport, I was the only black in there. There was a couple hundred people there. I was the only black in there. And Richie picked us up, and he was, "Oh man, we're gonna make a lot of money." He was dying his hair. His hair was like, you were trying to dye blonde, but it was gold. They were just talking, "Hey, I'm gonna make $1 million, And everybody was just looking at us, and then I wasn't saying nothing. So we sat in the back seat of his car. He drove us over to the home office. And I remember nudging Pastor Keith Street and said, listen, if the rest of these folk act like this one here, I'm out. Yeah, I ain't going to the circus. I ain't going to the circus. I don't need to see the clowns. And so, but he's a great guy. He's just a lot to take of him. Up to the home office, and we sat in that conference room for 4 hours. Okay, it was me, Pastor Keith Street, the owner of my first gold and silver company, and all 4 of the co-founders and the original CEO. See, most people don't know Jason. They hired Jason after 3 years. The original CEO was an Hispanic guy named Sam Cook. They got a black guy.
Yes.
Named Sam Cook. Real nice guy. So we were all in there for 4 hours. I'm asking them questions. They asking me questions. Went back to my hotel room, prayed about it, and I decided to plant my flag. But because of how my first company ended, I was still skeptical. So I made 5 trips to Idaho Falls my first year. About 30 different leaders with me so they could feel the brick and kick the tire. And I was more convinced every time I went that I had planted my flag in the right.
So God happened to put you with the gold and silver with this other guy. Was he a melanated person like us, or
the other guy was white guy.
Okay.
That was my second company, and this is only my third company. I don't have a history of jumping around stuff. I do my research and do my due diligence. I plant my flag and I build. Okay. So my first company was ACN. I made money, made way more mistakes than money. I did that for 8 years. Put my family in a financial hardship. To be very transparent. Because me and my wife have been married 34 years. She's been at home with our kids for 33 and a half. So when I say we full time. This is the source of income for our house.
wow.
So I did that one full time for like 5.5, almost 6 years. I put my family in a financial hardship, and I never got to 6 figures in that company. So I went back into corporate America, went into sales. And the best thing that happened to me at that company is that I did learn some skills. I never done sales before. I was an operator in a chemical plant, never done sales. But I learned some skills in my first ever marketing company. So much so that I went into sales with ADT Home Security. And after 1 year, I became the #1 salesman in North America out of 3,000 people.
Wow.
They said that the first year, if you make 60,000, you're above average. I made 80,000 because I was hungry. And I got tired of bill collectors calling my house. Okay. And then my second year, they said, if you're really good, you'll make 6 figures. So I set a goal because they posted everybody's number at the end of every month. So you knew what people were making sales and stuff like that. And if you understood the concept, you knew that if you wanted to make 6 figures, you need to be in the top 200 people in the company out of the 3,000 in North America. So I set a goal to finish top 5 and make 125,000. I did what I learned in network marketing, which I found me a mentor. That's somebody that was making the kind of money I wanted to make, and he was willing to sow into my life. And I found a guy that had been there 20 years, a white guy. And so I found me a mentor. I learned the system. And I set a goal for 125,000 and to finish in the top 5. I finished #1 and I made 186,000.
Wow.
And then my third year, I wanted to let them know I didn't just get lucky, but I was the real deal. So I set a goal to make $250,000 and finished #1 again. And Hurricane Ike hit in 2008. So that limited 2 months of worth of sales. But I still made over 204,000. I finished #1. Then I hit $250,000 my last year there. So, but then I went into inside sales after that. They fired me because I wouldn't take a manager's job. So I went into inside sales with a company called Tax Masters. And never done inside sales before, selling tax debt resolution for people that had problems with the IRS. And I got into the millionaire club in just 1 year, and I made 140-some thousand. And then when that company went out of business, that's when I got back in network marketing with preservation. And I've been 6 figures ever since in network marketing. So,
wow. So was God the person who told
Hi,
you?
Derek. Welcome.
That's the reason why you got into.
Well, I was looking for not necessarily gold and silver. What happened was, I knew I was, and I told my wife I knew I was going to get back involved in network marketing simply because of residual income. 6 figures a year is nice. And I've been blessed now to earn it in and outside of network marketing. A lot nicer residual. Okay. And so I was praying. I was still going to seminars. I was still reading books. So the 4 years I was out of the industry, I was just looking for the right opportunity. And I got approached 40, 50 times, but I would look at it and maybe buy the product. But if I didn't feel a passion for it, I didn't go. And it just so happened it was a Church of Christ pastor that was on my team in my first company. He approached me about the golden silver. And it was just right timing and stuff, because that other company was having problems with the inside sales. And he came and met with me and told me I'd never worked a binary before. So that was my first time going to binary. But I made $160,000 my first year in that company, and I made over $300,000 the second year. So, but just learning the system and just going to work and do what I knew how to do. So,
if you learn a thing, you can teach a thing, sir.
Do a thing, you can teach it. That's what Grandma used to say. Do a thing, you can teach a thing.
You're amazing. And it's something they wanted you to be a manager so badly, and understandably, and then you refuse.
Typically in corporate America, they don't like for somebody on the lower level, like I was a sales rep, making more than my supervisor, my general manager, and my regional manager.
That's true.
So so when you're exceptional, and Eric Worre talks about this book, Go Pro. When you're exceptional, then you got a target on your back. They want to they don't like when you at the bottom. You ain't got no degree or nothing like that, and you making more money than these folks that got degrees and doctors and everything else and stuff, masters, and you making double what they make. So they kept trying to force me to be a supervisor and stuff. I told them I'm cool. I don't need to be in supervision. I'm good. Worrying about me. But this has been an amazing ride here. I mean, November the 5th will be 7 years, and I'm one of a handful of people that during that time frame, we made over $1 million here at 17.
Wow.
And what most people don't know that we would have made over $1 million sooner, but first 2 years, the most you could make was $1,000 a week. The original comp plan was just $1,000 a week, and that was from 2016 to 2018. And it wasn't until the latter part of 2018 that they just wanted the average person to be able to get gold and silver and make $500 to $1,000 a month or $500 to $1,000 a week. Okay. Then they realized, we got thousands of people that's making $500 to $1,000, but if we're going to be an international, we're going to be multi-billion-dollar company, we need to put enough in the comp plan where a person can go full time and maybe make 6 figures. So the first enhancement of the comp plan, gold was the top of the comp plan. Okay, $7,000. And I was the first one in the field to hit gold in June of 2019. Okay.
Wow.
So when I hit gold, and at the time, Richard Hanson, the co-founder, he was also the mountain distributor. So we both hit it the same week. And then like 5-6 months later, they removed him from that position. Because in order to go international in some countries, the laws are never marketing. There are some countries you cannot do business if the owner is also the master distributor. So they had to remove him. And before we went into Canada, before we went into Australia, all of those countries. And so, and then after I hit gold, and they gave us the half-ounce gold coin for hitting that rank. Then they created executive gold and presidential gold. So that's only been in place for 3 years. So, and like I said, I had people on my team that hit executive and presidential before me. But then once I hit it, of course, they're all on my team. So I've never been the number one earner in 7 days, but I've never left the top 2.
Right, but you've been consistent.
That's amazing.
Consistent, multiple 6. I mean, again, I want to be transparent. The reason why I run my business like I do is this: is that I spend tens of thousands of dollars going to seminars, investing in, trying to learn this industry, and trying to be the kind of leader that will attract 6 figures and eventually 7 figures a year. And first time I met Eric Worre was in 2005 when I was my first company. At the time, he was not a real well-known person, never marketing. He was making $1 million plus a year in prepaid leave.
Okay.
But I went there because I wanted to hear some of the legends in the industry, like Mark Darnell, like the book we're covering right now, and I wanted motivational call. Mark Darnell, your first year never marketing. I mean, he was a legend in the industry before he died. And at the time, he wrote the number.
Because
run our business like we do. That when I went to that deal, and that was the first time I met Eric Warren, and he wasn't as big as he is right now. Because, that book GoPro is the number one best-selling book of all time in that market. I recommend everybody get one of those. Here's my original copy I bought 2012. It looks like a beat-up Bible.
Yes.
I've actually tasted it up a couple times. I read this thing about 30 different times. How to grow your team from 0 to hero in just 90 days. It said 90 days change your life. But one of the things he said in that I'll never forget, and that's why I run my business like that. He said, as leaders, he said, when you make it, never mind, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, you say you owe it to your team to tell them the truth on how you did. Okay. So there's a lot of folks, you want to know out, and they just tell you all kind of stuff. You need to better tell them the good, bad, and ugly. There's no such thing as overnight success. And so I heard him there, and like I said, this company has just been an amazing ride. I mean, one of the things I can truthfully say about these guys, they've always did what they said they were going to do. They've always done what they said they were going to do. More is honored their word. So you can find that. And, they share with us some stuff like, I knew that Josh and Zach were part owners of a travel company called Vacation, like 2013, because they helped the guys get out of financial bind. They invested $600,000 in that company in exchange for 2 board seats and 10% ownership. And so they shared with us at the leadership conference what they gave up so that they would only be associated with 7K members. And I would say 99% of all of those companies would have never done what those guys did. Now, that 10% ownership, all they had to do was attend 4 board meetings a year, Vacation. The Vacation paid them $250,000 each a year. Okay. All they had to do was attend 4 board meetings a year. And they were getting paid $250,000 a year each. Gosh, that. And they sold their ownership back to Vacation when they started 7K back in 2016.
Wow.
Most owners of companies wouldn't have done that. And this second thing I'm going to share with you, see that this technology with the sound money wallet converting silver and gold, fractional silver and gold, nobody else has that.
I believe it, sir.
And they shared with us, they had Venmo and they had Visa offer them $2 billion for that deal, and they turned them down. 99.9% of owners of never marketing company would have said, screw you. We're going to take this money. I mean, that's generational wealth.
Right.
They offered them $2 billion for that silver. They said, now you got to be a member of 7K.
So you're saying that this wallet was something that 7K Metals?
Yeah, they created that. They created that. I mean, for the first time in history, people can buy fractional silver and fractional gold out to the 8th decimal point.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry. And also the fact that Mr. Ball, he's one of 8 people or whatever that can go and get the gold and silver and all that. So
that's some of the misinformation that, let me tell you the truth of how it works. Part of your leadership in network marketing, you need to have product knowledge. You need to know your stuff because you're going to run into people that know your business as good as you. And you can only afford to have that deer in the headlight with so many times. Now, Roger Ball is not one-to-one that can go directly to the mint. Okay? Here's how the process works. Gold and silver is mined from the earth. Once and they deliver to the mint, it goes to a smelting place first. They can burn up all the impurities. They make Liberty pellets out of it. And then from there, it goes to the mint, and the mint turns it into coinage. Okay? Now, you and I can buy directly from the mint, but we're going to pay an exorbitant markup. If the mint sells their gold, silver, platinum, and palladium at the lowest price, they're what is called 12 authorized dealers or 12 authorized purchases. Look it up. Go to the usmint.gov. Go to that site and look up authorized purchases. Okay? And what that is that there are 12 authorized purchasers who are licensed by Congress to buy millions of dollars worth of metals every single month from the largest mints of the world: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Nobody in the world gets it at a lower price than those guys, because they have to buy it and they have to take ownership of it. Okay? And they're like 9 in the USA. There are 2 in China. That's 1 in Germany. Okay, these are all. So if you want to get the lowest price for something, you buy from those 12. The challenge with that, to play that game, you got to buy either 10,000 a month, 50,000 a month, or 100,000 a month to get their best price. The 7K buys from 5 of those 12 every month. We buy millions of dollars every week for the members, and then we pass on the saving on the bullion to the members. So, because we get that volume discount, part of the membership is that you pay what they pay. So the price is the price, whether you buy 1 coin or whether you buy 1,000. So everybody gets a volume discount. That's what makes us unique in the marketplace, because there's companies out there that are comparable prices on bullion, like AppMex, JM Bullion. Those are 2 of the ones I've bought from in the past. But to get their advertised best price, the key word you want to look at is what is called as low as. As low as means you're not going to buy 1 coin and get their best price. Not going to buy 10 and get their best price. You're going to buy 100. And Silver Eagle, you've got to buy 3 monster boxes, some of them companies. And a monster box is 500 Silver Eagles. That means you would have to spend almost $60,000 to get their best price. But the advantage of people that want to buy metals based upon what they can afford at the best price, when they get a subscription with us, the price is the price, whether you buy 1 coin or whether you buy 1,000. That means if you only want to buy 2 coins a week, you're going to get it at the best price. Okay? Now, we got 2 types of metals. This is part of the education. We have the wholesale product, which is the bullion, which is your defense. Our claim to fame is that 9 times out of 10, we're going to give you the best price. Okay? And then we have the retail, which is the collectible, and that's your offering. When it comes to growing your wealth, that's how you do it with the collectible or the numismatic. That has to be graded by certain companies. There are tier 1s, there are tier 2 companies in the grading. The top third-party grading companies in the world are PCGS, based in California, and NGC, based in Florida. So all the coins you get from 7K will be graded by one of those 2. Most of them is NGC. Some of them will be graded by PCGS. But, I'm just giving you some basics so you understand, what makes one coin worth more than the next. Why is a collectible coin worth more? Collectible coin is like a rim. It's like a console. That's why you're going to pay a lot more money for that, and because it becomes more rare. So 7K will educate you on that. And that's part of the membership that you get educated on it, so that when you're speaking to clients that may know a little bit about coin, let them know where we only use the top third-party grading companies, and we have bullion and member direct price. And you get as little as you want, as much as you want, whenever you want. And the average person can start stacking gold and silver based on what they can afford. And that sound money wallet allows gold and silver purchases on them. And that's what people can relate to. People that, I remember my parents going to Wieners, putting stuff on that way. Going to Foley's, Dillard's, putting stuff on there. But that sound money wallet allows you to put stuff on there. You can buy $1 worth of silver. About $2 to go. See, most people can't afford an ounce of gold now. It's about $2,100, like gold and coin. Most people can't afford it. But in that sound money wallet, I can put $20 on it this week, $50 on it next week, and then when it gets up to $2,100, every time you put money in that, it'll let you know what percentage of a full coin that you own. Okay, and once it gets up to you got an ounce, then you send it to me. And that's the system that they offer them $2 billion. Venmo and Visa offer 7K $2 billion to buy that system. So, but the owners know that whenever you do that, we can no longer use the system. So they wouldn't sell us out. 99% of the owners of Never Market Company would have said, bye 7K. Mm-hmm. I'll take the money and run. So but these guys, they want millions of people to be able to create generational wealth. Mm-hmm. And change millions of lives around the world for many years to come. So we're in the right place, and it's the right time. Now we just got to go to work and build something. The 7K will be a $1 billion company in the next 3 to 5 years. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't get your portion of that $1 billion.
About the compensation plan, sir. Could you break that down, because you seem to be able to break everything else down?
Sure. Let me put it up so you can see. So we compare apples and apples.
It's changed a little since then. Less complicated.
I'm saying you got to learn and speak 6-figure stuff before you ever get to 6 figures. All the things that be not.
Because you look at the coins, they are, works of art. Lots of them are. And you actually just said that and explained it more. It was actually Derek who said that, the one that came on the latest last night. He's taking care of his father. His father.
Here's the comp plan right here. That's the one page. Okay. Now, it's a binary with things. You got to put people on. You got to put at least one person on each team to be able to make it. Right? And the higher to go up in the compensation plan, you got to add some more personals, and you got to help at least one person on both sides. How it works. So how it works is that, just keep in mind, you got to add people to both teams in order to make it. Associates, real simple. You bring on 2 people. I don't care what level they come in at. 149, 599. Place one left and one right, you're an associate. And so it doesn't matter what level they come in at. You can make money from any one of those levels. It's more difficult if they come in at a lower level, but you can go to the top of the comp plan at 149. Okay? Now, it's difficult, and it's going to be very, very rare. But here's why it's so important, Jack. Now, I love the fact you said you did the $4.99, you did a premium. Is that one of the first lessons I learned in marketing, that your people are not going to do what you say, they're going to do what you do. So if I want to build a big team fast, I need to be the leader, come in at the highest level. If they're not going to do what you, and if you're going to be a person of integrity and character, sooner or later, the people going to want to know what level you come in at. If I want people to come in at $5.99, I need to come in at $5.99. I'm going to ask them what level you come in at. If I'm going to be a person of integrity and character, then they're going to do what you do. Majority of the time, going to do what you do. Okay? Now, copper is just adding 2 more personal, one left and one right. And that goes all the way up to gold. But to get to the big money at executive and presidential, now you got to develop 4 leads. Okay? So up until gold, all you got to do is have a person on the left and on the right and add a couple of sign-ups, and that elevates you next. Okay? But executive and presidential, you got a person sponsor gold on both sides, and you have the person sponsor bronze. Of those 20 people, 2 of them have to be gold, and 2 of them have to be bronze in order for you to get that 10,000. Okay. And the presidential gold, 2 of them have to be executive gold, and 2 of them have to be silver in order for you to make that 12,000. And you got to have minimum 28 persons. What's unheard of is for a company, a legitimate network marketing company that has a legitimate product, to pay 65 cents out of every dollar back into the field. That's why we don't have a lot of those bonuses other companies have, because when you look at that $250, I mean, when you make that $250, there's other folk that's making $500. There's other folk that's making $1,000 off of that same work. Okay, so 65 cents out of every dollar is paid back into the field. Right? And so, and when you look at the fact that the amount of people you need in order to make a residual of $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, most companies, you need double, triple that amount of product and service. To give an example, and here's what I want you guys to understand. Begin with the end in mind. Don't look at just weekly commissions like that. Residual is how you play the game. You talk to any big leader in network marketing, when they look at a comp plan, they want to know how many people I need to have on that service or product so that I have a certain amount of money coming in every month. If nobody sponsors nobody, if everybody just buy their coin, this is my payment. Now, there's about 60 of us in this company that have a 6-figure residual income. Okay. That means 6 figures will come in every year. If all we do is buy our coin because of the organization we built, 6 figures will come in every year, whether you get out of bed or not. You got to know the number before you can grow them. Okay? And here's the number. If as an associate, and we look at the lowest common denominator, which is 15 points. The residual is the coin of the month. That's your residual income. Okay. When people sign up and stuff, that's just bonuses and commissions. But your residual income is based upon how many people on your left and right are on that coin of the month. Okay. And the lowest amount of points is 15 points. All right. So here's what I know to be true. Just doing the math. Just basic math. If I'm an associate and I got 34 people on my left and 34 people on my right, and I don't have to bring in all, but there's 34 people on my report on both sides buying at least one coin a month. That's $500 a month every month, whether I get out of my bed or not. Okay. Whether I get out of my bed or not. If I'm at least an associate. So I round the numbers up to 35 because it makes it easier to multiply. Okay. So when I do a game planning session with a new person, like I did yesterday with one of the guys we signed up at, I asked him, okay, how much money do you need to be making per month in the next 6 months to make this worth your while? He said, I want to make $4,000 a month. Then I let him know what the numbers are. So that means you're going to have to be at least a copper, but preferably bronze or silver in that first 6 months. Because I have a few coppers that make 1,000 every week, but that majority of them don't. So if you want to do at least 1,000 a week every week, you need to be at bronze or silver minimum. But if I know that it's 35 on both sides to get 500, then I know 350 on both sides. And if I'm at least a bronze or a silver, that's 5,000 a month every month when I get out of my bed. Then I already know my goal is that by the end of the year, presidential goal. And if I got 3,500 people on the left and 3,500 people on the right buying one coin a month, that's 50,000 a month every month when I get out of my bed. So just understand, my goal is to get a financial deal. Residual is how you play the game. You got to know the number before you control it. Okay? And the magic number is 35 people on both sides equals $500 a month. So if you want to make 1,000 a month, then I know I got to have at least 70 people on both sides buying a coin every month. And if I'm at least associate, $1,000 a month every month, whether I get out of my bed or not.
You know, and I saw one of your trainings a while back, and then something clicked one day, and it was when you were talking about, you were saying all you need is this on the left and something on the right, and you have, and it's like it was in my head one day, and it just stuck, and I was like, wait a minute, I can do this. You do the math, don't you? That's awesome. That's important. And like you said, knowing the product.
Know that, so when the people come from other companies, they want to compare apples and apples. I tell them now, there's some companies out there, they talk about that you can make up to $2 million, $5 million a year. Right now, our compensation plan doesn't, support that. But the next enhancement, you're going to make over $1 million a year in the company. But 7K, hundreds of people making 6 figures before they arrive. That is coming. So I would say the next 2 years, the next enhancement, you'll better make 20,000, 30,000.
I'm so grateful, sir. I'm like a little kid right now. I'm like thanking God. I'm jumping up and down, doing cartwheels and splits. And I thank God for you, Mr. Green, for hanging in with me for these 20,000 years. And Sister Teresa, I thank you for just being my sister.
Thank you.
And I thank you, God, for giving us Brother Tony.
But her son is an ex-NFL player, so history of the company. That Golden Silver Company now is back up. They are promising people things, but if you ask the people, they've never received a coin yet. So they're telling them they're ground floor. But that gentleman, he's not in prison, but I guess he owed people like millions of dollars. He owed Mr. Hubbard $30,000, and so they're trying to give him a chance to build that back up. But it looks like he's not going to be able to get it off the ground, actually, even in the way he's trying to do it. So he's telling them to invest now, and then later on, then they can start moving it. Coins, $25, that kind of thing. Well, we have some coins that are $6, $18, $25, along those lines as well, but those may not be the quality coins. He says if anyone is in that one, to let him know if they're willing to talk to him. So Anyway, that's it. I'm not gonna keep y'all. I might let y'all get back to your sports and to work. Thanks for hopping on. Love you all. Bye. Any questions? All right, bye-bye.